Buongiorno, come state oggi? Today I'm going to be talking about that verb stare, which I just used asking you how you are all doing, and also the verb essere. Both verbs in Italian mean to be, so it can be a little confusing knowing when to use one and when to use the other. Let's begin with the verb essere. Essere is, I think, one of the most important verbs in Italian. You're going to use it a ton. You're going to use it in the present perfect when you're forming that tense as a helping verb. So it's really important that you know that verb. Let's start with the conjugations. It's irregular. So repeat after me. Io sono, tu sei, lui lei è, noi siamo, voi siete, loro sono. Notice that the io conjugation and the loro conjugation are the same, unfortunately, sono, but you'll be able to distinguish if you're talking about I or they based on whatever you're describing, usually. And if you can't, you can use the subject pronoun, io or loro. So essere, you're going to use all the time. You're going to use it more often than stare. You're going to use it for physical locations. So I could say right now, sono a casa, I am at home. I could say, loro sono a Roma, they are in Rome. So wherever you're describing a place, a location, you can use essere. You're also going to use it to tell time. So this is interesting. In English, we say, for example, it's 2 o'clock. It's is singular and two is technically plural because it's more than one, right? So in Italian, you don't do that. Everything has to agree. So when you say it's 2, you're literally saying there are 2, meaning 2 hours. So you would say sono le 2 del pomeriggio. It's 2, or there are 2 hours in the afternoon. The only time you're going to use the singular are if it's midnight, è mezzanotte, noon, è mezzogiorno, and if it's 1, because 1 is singular, right? È luna. And luna is spelled with an L apostrophe U-N-A because luna without the apostrophe means moon. Va bene? So location, telling time, and then you're going to use it anytime you describe people, whether it's a permanent characteristic or a transient feeling. So I know a lot of you have probably studied Spanish. I've taught Italian for 23 years now, and every class that I have, there are Spanish speakers that have either studied it, dabbled in it, or are native speakers. And it's confusing when you look at the verb ser in comparison to essere, estar in comparison to stare, because they are different. Because in Spanish, as you know, use estar with transient feelings and ser with permanent characteristics. So in Italian, every time you describe somebody, whether, like I said, it's permanent or fleeting, you're going to use essere. So if I said, you are nice, I would say, sei simpatica. If I said, we are tall, siamo alti. If I say they are tired, sono stanchi. And then you use it with nationalities because nationalities are also adjectives. Lei è giapponese, voi siete canadesi. So anytime you're describing characteristics in terms of physical description, mental states, feelings, or also nationalities. Also, if you're describing somebody's profession. So, sono insegnante di italiano. I am an Italian teacher. Va bene? Okay, basta con essere. So, and I'm just talking in this video about essere and stare in the present tense. I'll do another video how to use both of these verbs in the past tenses, like the present perfect and the imperfect, because it's more complicated. So let's talk about stare, and let's go over the conjugations to begin with. This is also an irregular verb. Io sto, tu stai, lui lei sta, noi stiamo, voi state, loro stanno. Va bene? So stare, this is going to get a little bit confusing, is also used for physical location, but it indicates staying. So make the association. It starts with an S-T-A, stare, staying, starts with an S-T-A. So meaning you're spending the night somewhere, or you're staying for a longer period of time. So I could say, stiamo a Milano per 4 giorni. We are in Milan for 4 days, and that indicates we're staying longer. However, you can also use essere in this circumstance. You could say, siamo a Milano per 4 giorni, but technically, stare is used more for staying. But just know there's a gray area in terms of location when you use stare and essere. Va bene? Hopefully that's clear. You're also going to use stare with how you're feeling. So the question that you will be asked is what I asked you in the beginning of this video, come state? How are you all doing? If it's singular, informal, come stai? Formal, singular, come sta? So then you would respond with sto bene, sto bene, sto benissimo, I'm doing really well. Or other things you can say, così così, tutto a posto, everything's in place. Non c'è male, nothing bad. Or if things are going really badly, you can say sto male. So when that's asked, that is in the moment, how are things going? How are you doing? How are you doing? Kind of how are you feeling? So you would respond with stare. A couple other times you're going to use stare in the present tense one is called the present progressive. So if the action is happening in this moment, you're actually doing it. Right now I'm teaching a little mini lesson, so I would conjugate stare, I would take the verb and I would convert it from the infinitive to what's called the gerund form. So how you do that is you drop the ARE or ERE or IRE ending, and if it's an ARE verb, you replace it with ando. If it's an ERE verb or an IRE verb, you replace it with endo. So the verb to teach is insegnare. So I conjugate stare and I convert insegnare to insegnando, and I would say sto insegnando. Voi state ascoltando. You all are listening. So if it's an ERE verb, it's the same thing, but it's endo. Lei sta leggendo. She is reading. So you can use that just when something is happening in this moment. It's not an in general thing. So another way that you can use stare is if something is about to happen. And so you conjugate stare, follow it with the preposition per, and then an infinitive. Per esempio, I'm about to go to work. I'm about to leave. So I would say sto per andare via. I'm about to go, to leave for work. Loro stanno per mangiare. They are about to eat. And if you want more explanation and you'd like to see the things written down, I have a book. You can buy it on Amazon. I have it right here at my desk. It's called The ABCs of Italian Travel, and it explains all of these beginning level rules and way to decipher things. It's organized by letter of the alphabet. So I recommend that if you want to have a reference, a written reference as you continue to study Italian. I know this video was a little bit longer, but lots of information, and these verbs are very important, sono molto importanti. So I will do one on the past tense coming up, and until then, buono studio, grazie, alla prossima.